Hello everyone, my name is Doomfish, and in today's video I'm going to show you what I think are the top 5 villagers in Minecraft 1.16 to generate emeralds. So let's just get into this right away. We can take a look here, and the 5 villagers I have selected are the Farmer, Fletcher, Mason, Cartographer, and Cleric, and up here you can see the trades that I have selected for each of them. So for example, we have melons and pumpkins, carrots, potatoes, beetroot, and wheat for the farmer, and that basically means those are the items that you're going to have to give him to get emeralds. And so for the Fletcher, we have string and sticks. And for the Mason, we have stone, andesite, granite, and diorite. For the Cartographer, we have glass panes and paper. And for the Cleric, we have rotten flesh and gold. So those are the top 5 that I've selected, and I'm going to go into a bit more of detail on why I picked each of these right away. So starting off with the farmer here, the reasons why I chose him is because of 2 reasons. One is his first trade is always going to be 2 out of the 4 of these items. We can take a look. On this guy is buying potatoes and carrots, and a lot of these items are pretty easy to farm in the early game. If you don't have a advanced villager trading hall set up or you can't cure these guys, this is a great option. Furthermore, we have the melons and pumpkins, which is probably the best reason to get a farmer villager because by default I believe it's 4 melons and 6 pumpkins for an emerald, which is pretty great price considering how easy it is to farm both of these items, even semi-automatically, even just getting a normal farm by just planting down the melon seeds and not even having a automated setup. You get large quantities of both of those items. So that makes the farmer villager a great way to get emeralds if you don't have a way to zombify them and then cure them. Moving right along, we have probably the most famous villager trade, which is the Fletcher, and that is the stick trade because, it sticks. It's not exactly really hard to get. You don't have to automate anything to get 6, and you need 32 of them by default for an emerald. And our next trade is the string, which you need 14 of it by default per emerald. And the reason why I included this guy is because um, in the early game, obviously sticks are very easy to get. Even if you have just an iron axe, you can quickly get a large quantity of sticks and convert those into emeralds for all of your needs. And secondly, if you are later in the game and you can zombify the villager, you can get this trade down to 1 stick per an emerald, which is just insane because, 1 stick, each time you chop a log, you're getting 8 sticks. So if you zombify this guy like 2 or 3 times and get this price all the way down, that's just a ridiculous amount of emeralds very quickly. And the string is good if you have a mob farm that produces a large amount of string, and you just need to get rid of it for some reason. You have another option. Instead of just throwing it away, you can turn it into emeralds. So next up we have the Mason, or the Stonemason if you're in the Bedrock version. And the reason why I include this guy is because he will buy all of your stone that you have in excess, both stone and then the 3 different varieties, andesite, granite, and diorite. And you'll end up having a lot of excess of these items in your world most likely. And if you have a Silk Touch pickaxe and a beacon with haste 2 and the pickaxe has efficiency 5 on it, you're probably going to get tons and tons of normal stone. So this just gives, similar to the Fletcher's traded with string, this just gives a output for a lot of your items that normally you wouldn't really have anything to do with, and they'd just be clogging up your chests or your shulker boxes or your barrels or whatever you're using to store your items. And this is just a way to get rid of them. Next up, we have the Cartographer, whose 2 trades I'm going to be focusing on are the paper trade and the glass pane trade. Now, the paper trade is okay. It's 24 paper per an emerald, which of course is 24 sugarcane, which you can farm automatically pretty easily. But the trade that I think is worth talking about here is the glass pane trade. By default, it's 11 glass panes per an emerald. And if you think about it, each glass pane, you make 16 of them per 6 glass. So that's about like maybe 4 or 5 glass per emerald, which is just 4 or 5 sand, and then you have to smelt it, of course. But this is a really easy way to get emeralds as well, similar to, let's say, the farmer trades with the pumpkin and the melon up there. It's just a very easy way to grind out some emeralds at a very quick rate. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Cleric. Now, this guy, the 2 trades I'm going to be talking about are the Rotten Flesh and the Gold trade. Now, Rotten Flesh is 32 per emerald by default, which can be a lot, but again, just like the string, it's a great way to get rid of your excess materials that you really don't have another need for. And another trade, specifically in 1.16, is Gold. As you've probably seen, a lot of people have created crazy gold farms to produce ridiculous quantities of gold. And when you're not using that gold in your bartering farms, you can use it right here and trade them at a nice rate of 3 gold per emerald. Now, with these 5 guys here, one thing that I'd like to talk about is I believe they're toolsmiths, armorsmiths, and weaponsmiths. And they all have pretty similar trades in terms of getting them for emeralds. And the 2 main ones are coal and iron. And the reason why I didn't put that up there is because coal is a non-renewable resource, just like in real life. But you can't farm it out in Minecraft. You'd have to go and mine it yourself. I think it's like 15 coal per trade, which is probably not worth it. And the iron farm, you get like 4 iron ingots, and you turn that into 1 emerald, which is quite similar to the gold farm. But I decided not to just because maybe you want to spend your iron on something else. But if you do have a crazy, crazy iron farm, as in 1.16, they were sort of buffed. I mean, it makes them a little bit simpler to make, but their rates are pretty much the same. Then you can use that for emeralds as well. But these 5 are probably going to be your best bets. And I would say that my personal favorite is probably the farmer, just because the melon and pumpkin trade is so, so strong. And then runner-up, I'd have to say the Fletcher is because the Fletcher also has some other great trades as well. Like, for example, buying arrows. I mean, this guy doesn't have the arrow trade, unfortunately, but it's 1 emerald per 16 arrows, which is pretty great for most of your normal Minecraft needs. And he also can sell some really cool bows and crossbows. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you found it informative, and if you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and you can subscribe for more content like this. And if you want to, go ahead and let me know what you think your favorite villager is for getting emeralds in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.